Hello and welcome. We're going to talk about 2D symbolization in this tutorial video. And so to do that, just like any other symbolization, we can start by simply going to our properties by double clicking on the layer or right clicking and going down to properties, go to symbology. And since we are dealing with numbers in this case, population density, we're going to go to quantities. And we can do our first option, which is graduated colors. We can go to our value, and I can go down to my pop square mile here. Now, you can play around with the colors in here. You can, in this case, I might just do a simple white to black. So that way I can say lighter color is less dense, and the darker color, in this case gray or black, is like the higher density. I'm going to up my classes because I want to see the very subtle variations of this, because if I just hit apply, you can see where large portions of the county end up being in that first class when you do have a natural breaks. And so I want to see the subtle variations, so I'm going to go, let's just put it up to 32. You can hit apply, and you can start seeing pockets of more subtle variation in the population density popping up throughout the county. So I could do that here. Some things you could also work on, if you kind of click on the symbol, you could properties for all symbols, and then you can say like maybe get rid of the outlines if you don't need those, do other things. If, for instance, you have your symbols flipped backwards, you can right click and flip symbols back and forth, things like that. So there's that method of addressing issues like this. And so that's one way. Move this out of the way. So that's one effort. Another thing that you could do for something like this is we could go to, say, something like the dot density. And so I could have a dot size. The dot value here might be something like, we'll get our pop per square mile and bring that over. And we may have something here that is, every dot represents, let's say, 100 people. Let's see what that looks like. Hit apply. So you can see here then the selections of dots. Each dot represents 100 people. We could make that even smaller, so we could make that, say, 25 people. Hit apply. You can see we now have a lot more dots. You can manipulate the size, so you can make the dots smaller, so you can see, again, more nuances in areas in the center of the city of Madison. So you can kind of play that back and forth, and that's kind of speaking to the dot density. But now you can kind of see, well, that small, we lost a little bit outside the city. And so there's two ways to symbolize that. Now, another thing that I really like about the dot density, so that's two ways to symbolize population density, but the other way that I like the symbology of dot density is if we go back to our census code book for this attribute table, the EUY is our race and ethnicity, or our, in this case, our race file. So 001 being white, and then the others being 002 is black or African American, Native American, Asian, and other. So if we brought all of those over and hit apply, and so we can then see the colors throughout the city. Now, Dane County and Madison are not the most diverse places, so you can see that the white being on top covers things up, so you can simply just move it to the bottom. And you can click on any one of these symbols to edit the color. So maybe purple might not be the best color, maybe we make that like a gray, hit apply. So then you can see these others on top. Now you can change these values appropriately. So you can again see the subtle variations in the different races within Dane County and Madison, and you can see how they're clustered in different areas. So that is several ways that you can use quantities and different kinds of quantities within the symbology for census data. And so that concludes the 2D representation of this data. Thanks.